Welcome back. So we'll continue building our coil bowl here. Right. So we'll start off where we left off, right? So this high point right here just makes it easy to start and stop, right? So once you begin again, right, the wiggle of the clay, if you grab it between your fingers, and I'm just lightly wiggling it, like moving it back and forth. So this is set up nicely, right? It's holding its shape, it's not slumping, and it'll hold the weight on top. So once you come back, we'll want to score again, because we want to make sure that we have a good connection. The reason why I'm not having you guys score on every coil is that, one, you don't need to. Two, if you're adding water or slip to every connection, it will make everything really watery and loose. So with it being dry, a little bit on the dry side, right? Slightly leather hard stage. We'll need to reintroduce some water so that it can blend with our clay. So how I like to get a large coil kind of going is just squeezing it between my hands and then rolling it in front of you, right? So both hands, right? If I start getting the flat side here, concentrating on that flat side to make it round, or just rolling through, right? This is not a perfect coil. We don't need perfect coils to build. So actually, if you have a little bit of a flattened coil, you'll be able to build a little bit easier. So flattened coils work out to your advantage, right? So scoring my coil, and instead of adding water to my coil, I'm going to add water to where I need on my bowl. And that way I'm not adding extra water to my coil when I come around here. So I rolled out enough of a coil that I will come back around on top. Okay. So for those of you who are ambidextrous, this will work out to your advantage. Alright, so I'm coming back around here to where I started my coil. I don't need to take this off. I can continue on. And this is where, if I added that water to my scored edge of my coil, it would create just a little bit of slippage here. This is a really nice, soft, wet clay, and I can compress this all together just nicely. Right? So you see how easy it is to move my coil pot with my newsprint, my newspaper below. So as I start to build, I can shape as well, right? I showed you guys the wood rib. You also have your metal rib in your kits, and this has a little bit more of a bite to it with that edge. You do want to be careful. This can cut you like a paper cut, except nastier. So just be careful using this. You know, it's not dangerous, but can be a little annoying if you're not careful. Right, so this is shaping the inside of my bowl. It's also shaping the outside, right? So we want to be getting close to that 10 inch wide mark. It doesn't sound like much, but it can be difficult to shoot for. And I'm a big fan of reacting to the material and letting happen what is happening and taking place, right? So if this isn't a perfect round 10 inch by 5 inch high bowl, you're totally fine, right? So one coil. And remember, as you are building up, things are getting wider. So you might need to make some larger coils, right? Just getting this coil started. You know, it's not the prettiest. If I wanted to build with this, I totally could, right? You hear that? That's my flat sides. Hitting the canvas. Again, not a perfect coil. It's actually more flat now. And I don't need to score this time, right? This clay is nice and soft. You can see that little bit of wiggle. It really moves the clay walls, right? So sometimes standing up works best. You can see how I'm moving the clay around, right? I'm overlapping that inside, right? I'm being just light enough over here, and when I compress that in and overlap my pieces, overlap my coils, they blend together, right? So a good rule of thumb is to only build 2 to 3 coils at a time, right? You can see how this is starting to get a little lopsided, right? I've got a really thick coil right here. I'm going to pinch, I'm compressing, smoothing the inside out with my thumb. pulling up on the outside. You can see how that moves the clay outward. So really pay attention to your compression, right? Compression is more important than anything else you're doing. If I don't compress my coils together, they will split apart, right? And again, coming back to my rib, smoothing out the inside, and you can see I'll leave these little tool marks, right? Those can always be smoothed out close to the end. Don't worry about the marks you are making right now. I mean, if you feel like scraping from the bottom up, it's another great way to blend the clay and also get a little bit more height. I'm supporting the outside with my left hand as I scrape the inside. You know, if you're a lefty, support with your right hand on your outside. Good. So we are getting close. Now I'd just like to take off my clay. I'll get these little clay bits, kind of like whack-a-mole. You can pick up your clay bits with a wet piece of clay so it doesn't get embedded into your coils. And I can come on the outside here and smooth out my walls, right? So this can be a little tough angle. So I'm blending together that dry or more dry base with the wet coils on top. So it could take a little bit of effort in moving those dry coils to blend with the base. But you see what's happening, right? I'm blending the clay together with this really sharp edge of my rib, right? So coming together, we are looking at the right stick, right measurement. So we got about 1.25 inches to go, right? And height-wise, I'm looking at about another inch. So maybe 2 to 3 more coils to go. As this comes together, I can really shape this out. And then from here, I'll show you guys how to finish this. So we'll let this set up again. I'll come back to it and finish the coils and maybe trim the top, right? Okay, talk about that soon.